Hello, welcome back to the Football Terrace. Thank you very much for tuning in this morning. Two major updates in relation to Frank Lampard at Chelsea Football Club that we want to walk through with you this morning. And again, it's divisive. It's so divisive right now what's going on at the football club. There are so many different views and opinions, but two big stories doing the rounds today. We're going to delve into them in more detail with you throughout the course of this video. We're going to open up the lines for you to call in and have your say as well. But before we go any further, please sign up to our Discord server. Sign up to our Discord server right about now. Please do that. And link for that is in the description below. And sign up to the Football Terrace as well. Very, very important that you do both those things. Subscribe to the Football Terrace and always smash the like button. Get your comments in as well. Very intriguing to see what you're all thinking and feeling today in relation to this. We're going to go through these two stories in more detail. We will be touching on Jurgen Klopp, not in this show, later on today on the Football Terrace as well, because man is rattled, absolutely rattled, like I've never really seen before. From him, which I find very, very intriguing indeed. But the first story that I read about Frank Lampard, it's now disappeared off my screen, so I'm searching for it again. Basically suggesting that he's being backed, suggesting that Roman is going to give him time to turn things around at Chelsea, which, if I'm being honest with you, I don't really know where this has come from, you know, in the sense of, you know, it says here, Chelsea will give Frank time to turn things around after Man City defeat left Blues down in 8th, with Roman Abramovich preferring to take stock in the summer. So there's one big report this morning that he will be backed and he'll be supported throughout the entirety of the season. There is a secondary report, though, that I've also read today that says Chelsea players have turned against Lampard for two key failings. We'll go through those key failings in a minute. That's according to The Athletic. Who now, The Athletic believe his job is completely and utterly under threat. The Daily Mail saying that he's going to be supported. So the contrast in conversation at the minute, I think, is staggering. I really do. My personal view is Roman's looking for alternatives. Roman and the club are going to feed out fairly positive information to some people, but there is clearly a leak. There is clearly information coming out. And the derogatory report here says Frank Lampard's position as Chelsea manager looks increasingly weakened, with a report claiming a number of key players have lost faith in the Blues manager. Remember, this is the second report from different outlets in the space of a week that players are losing faith. It says Chelsea have lost blah, 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 blah. I'm not worried about that. Consequently, the pressure is growing upon Frank Lampard. The manager was backed heavily in the summer transfer market, but despite a promising start, things have turned sour. Chelsea have not been shy to dismiss managers in recent years, although Lampard is held in high regard due to his legendary status at the club. Now, according to ESPN and The Athletic, senior Chelsea players have vented their frustrations over Lampard's regime. Firstly, it's reported Lampard's tactics are beginning to frustrate them. The Blues are operating with his preferred 4-3-3 system, but it has failed to yield many positive results. Indeed, Lampard has struggled to find his best team, and it is also said that that's the second bone of contention with players. Central figures at the club believe that Lampard is playing too many individuals out of position. But what is your views? What is your opinion? Do you actually think that's fair? Do you think the players have a right to down tools and not try? Or do you believe the other report that we've already been through, mentioned already, that Frank Lampard will be given to the end of the season regardless? And if he is being back to the end of the season, is it right that players are going to how do I say this in the right way? Is it right then that players are going to down tools? Is it right then that players are going to keep venting their frustrations publicly in this way? If Roman's going to back Lampard, do all the players and all the fans have to get behind that decision? I want to know from you this morning. We've got Josh here with a super chat who says, morning, Terry, how are you doing on this fine day? Found out earlier today that the missus is clear of cancer after surgery and treatment. 21 in 21, big year ahead. Listen, Josh, that is amazing news. Congratulations to your wife, first and foremost, for beating cancer. For yourself and, of course, your family and your children. I know you've got one child, at least, you might have more than one. Amazing news for all of you. So absolutely brilliant. And I just hope now as well to typify, Man United can go push on for that title for you as well, because what a year it will be. Congratulations, mate. Best news we've had on the terrace all year, like legitimately. So thank you for sharing that with us, my friend. Man like eye test in the house says Roman doesn't give a damn about trust the process. He doesn't know what that means. He wants to win now. That's why Frank Lampard will go. I respect that. Forget this process rubbish. Listen, I'm not too sure if we can actually. I don't think you can yield massive results behaving in that way anymore. I test. I really don't think it's possible. I do think there needs to be more of a process. You need to build a stable foundation. You can still go through a conveyor belt manager approach, but the foundation must be built first. It must be built. What? 7 children, Josh? What's wrong with you, bruv? 7 children? You're mad. You're mad. 7, bruv. 7? 7. Man's got 7 kids. 7. Bruv, this ain't 1932. 7 kids. Do you not have a TV in your house? Bruv, listen, forget the snip. I'll pay for satellite TV. Leave her alone, bruv. Jesus. Wow. That's a madness. Listen, that's a lovely big family though, mate. I'm only messing around. Well done, you. Hey, Terry, I think the backroom staff are to blame as well. They are providing no tactical support and have no experience. A bunch of youth coaches. Listen, this is on your club. Your club hired these people. Your club sanctioned this. This is very much a Roman. I can't remember the name of the lady that you all boast about. It's down to them. They've appointed these people. Frank Lampard, for me, his head's on the chopping block. I don't believe Roman's going to give him till the end of the season. Right now, you could argue he's not going to sack him just yet, because although the results have been poor, when you actually break it down and look at the Premier League, they're still well within the race, even to win the damn title, because other teams are dropping points. Nobody is running away with it. You look at it now. I'm going to share it on the screen, actually, so everybody can see this at the same time. But if we look here at the league table, I have to scroll down a bit. So, they're in 9th now. Oh, yeah, because Southampton won. Actually in 9th. I mean, when you look at the league table, yes, they're only, you're only 3 points off the top 4. So I doubt he's going to be sacked at this moment in time. The problem you have is if the form doesn't overtly improve. You've got Man City that look like they're about to start going on a good run. Man United are demonstrating consistency. Liverpool are making top 4 no matter what goes on. Leicester are looking good again. Will Spurs, now that they've won a game, get out of this rut? If you start to see City, United, Leicester, Tottenham, Liverpool pull away, he's getting sacked. Absolutely no issue at all. If he stays within touching distance of the top 4, he may hold on to his job. But any more embarrassing results, man's gonna get rid of him. Man's getting gone. Done. Finished as far as I'm concerned. Make sure you're all smashing that like button, please. It means a great deal to the football terrace. Josh here says, I have a TV. Keeps the other kids babysat whilst we create. Oh, bruv, what am I reading? My eyes. Man bought a TV just to occupy his kids so he could go upstairs and impregnate the missus. Go on, Joshy boy. Go on, son. Comment here says that they just stick it out with Lampard. I'm a United fan, and Ollie wasn't doing great a few months back. That's also the other train of thought here, which always gets neglected by football fans. What if he turns it around? What if he turns it around? Should you not give him a bit more time? Philip Hunt here. Hi, Terry. Hope you're doing well. Seems all managers have had their nod on the line recently. Don't think Klopp is rattled, just annoyed. Listen, I don't think Jurgen Klopp's overtly rattled. I do think he's rattled, but he's angry and he's frustrated and he's annoyed, but he's deflecting. The Man United comment last night that, they've had more penalties in 2 years than we've had in 5. That's a factually untrue statement. They're bringing attention to it. The Liverpool press is bringing attention to it. The Liverpool fans in their masses are bringing attention to it. You weren't doing this. I heard a comment this morning. Liverpool fans are celebrating it like it's the best thing any manager ever said. Others celebrate being close to us. Of course they do, because you're the best. And you should take a little bit of homage out of that. But if they start moving in front of you, as it stands right now, City and Man United have a better points per game total than you. But their trajectory is moving forward. Yours is declining. And this is where I get a little frustrated at Liverpool fans' denial. And I know Gav called me out last night. We're going to get Gav and Grizz on the show hopefully soon. They called me out and said, oh, you're telling lies on your show about us. I'm not. I don't believe I am. I mean this sincerely, and I mean it with no bitterness. Whenever I've, generally speaking, Philip, this is addressing you here for your super chat. Whenever I've brought up sort of the declining form, opened up more, losing more points, conceding more goals, losing more games, drawing more games, it's been brushed away like there's no problem. And a lot of people have been talking about this for a while now. So there we go. Anyway, we will move forward. We're talking Chelsea here. I want to say a massive thank you for all your content. Listen, Jacob, I appreciate, I like the emoji, by the way, and I appreciate your kind views. I really, really do. And your kind words and your views, mate. It really means a great deal to me. Thank you very, very much. DJ here, one of our long-standing members and one of our biggest contributors, DJ, says, I don't think Lampard should be sacked. The only thing I will say is he got the job too early at Chelsea, but just for what he did, getting us into fourth and an FA Cup final, Roman is giving him time. I suppose my view is always this, though. If you gave him a fledgling manager this opportunity, there must have been more than a reason. Surely you're bored. Surely Chelsea's decision makers didn't think Lampard's going to make us Premier League champions within a year. Surely that was not what they believed. Surely that can't be it. That can't be it. Can't be. Surely not. And I'm not even trying to sound salty, hyperbolic, exaggerate this. They couldn't have thought that. They knew this was a process. Are they backing out of the process already? Another super chat here from the man, one of our biggest contributors at the minute as well, Philip Hunt, who says, Klopp definitely is angry. Liverpool fans definitely need to stop with the penalty talk, embarrassing stuff. We're just in bad form. We'll see. I agree with you. But teams like to deflect, don't they? Teams do like to deflect. Josh here says, Lampard deserves another year. He is there to build some foundations. Well, this is what we were told. We were told he was there to build foundations. We were told that it was about developing these young players, buying young and making them better. It depends what's going on behind the scenes, I suppose. And this is if you believe the reports that the players are becoming angry with him, that's where it becomes a very untenable position. That's where it becomes very, very hard for him to move forward. Another comment here. Lampard needs to play two strikers up top so they still have a target man who can header the ball. Listen, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Imagine that, play Werner off of Giroud. That could work. The problem when you do that is you have to drop somebody else out. And that's where you might lose the Mason Mounts of this world. And that will frustrate certain Chelsea fans as well. So he's damned if he does and he's damned if he doesn't. Red Lucifer, thank you. Absolutely, everyone. Smash those like buttons. Terry, why are you so obsessed with Chelsea and Lampard? Chill out. Because it's big news right now. It's big news right now. We cover the top 6+1 here at the Football Terrace. It's big news about Lampard. There's big stories every day. And we want to bring them to you. And we want your views and your opinions. This is what we are. We're a football fan forum. We're a football community. And we're here to talk about the big news. We're talking Jurgen Klopp later on this afternoon. We're going to be covering the semi-finals today. That's it, bruv. That it. That be it. There we go. A 4-2-2-2 would be perfect for Chelsea. Mustafa, who would you play in them positions, though? That's what I'm intrigued to find out. Terry, how do we speak to you, bruv? I'm going to share the link in a few moments in the live comment section for you to get involved. Make sure you sign up to the Discord server as well, please. Really important to us that you get that done. Get your super chats in as well. 20 talking about 21. Don't. Listen, we're not having that conversation directly. Not on any of my shows that we host. Let's, keep our powder dry. I celebrated with the best of them last night. I cheered when Southampton scored. I I actually got angry when they misplaced passes and counterattacks. And I just hope Liverpool are sloppy at the back and leave as much space for Man United when we play them in a couple of weeks at Anfield, because, well, just on Sunday week at Anfield, because Rashford and Martial will absolutely destroy them. However, Liverpool all up their games to play Man United. There's no doubt about it in my mind at all. It'll be a very hard game. It really will. It really, really will. Monsieur Ahmed here with a super chat coming up in a second. Thank you again, Red Lucifer, long-term member of the Football Terrace as well. There. Monsieur Ahmed here says, Terry, still fuming. Smash the like button, guys. Thank you. Terry, this is what man like Rome says from the Fourth Official. Terry, I blame the recruitment team at Chelsea for buying Werner and Havertz. Really? I don't think they're bad buys. I think they bought too many players in one summer. I really do. I thought they gelled very quickly, and I'm wrong on that one. You look back, hindsight's a very lucrative commodity, as we always say here. But maybe they should have only bought 4 players. Maybe they should have extended the contract of a Pedro, kept a Willian. I'm not saying these players are great, but keep a bit of continuity is important. Right now, it's basically a whole new group of players learning how to play one another in a period where there's no training. And what I mean by training is that there isn't the time to work on patterns and methods and formations and situations as such. It's okay if you're Leeds and Southampton this season, Everton, they haven't got European football. You get a break in the middle of the week. How many times have Chelsea had a break? There's something about that stands out massively to me. Winter Surfer here says, ITES, please don't make yourself apologize again. Listen, ITES deserves credit for that apology, bro. He really, really does. He really does. Haunted Radio says, Terry, we have a chance of going to Anfield, top of the league. Who would have thought? Nobody 5-6 weeks ago. There isn't a soul on earth who thought that was even a plausible idea 5 weeks ago. What a turnaround from Manchester United. And the pressure they're now applying is bursting pipes. It's bursting pipes. And like I've said, I think City coming back up. City, by the way, Man City could be top if they win their 2 games in hand. Liverpool, by close of business on the 17th of January, if they don't sort this form out, could be 3rd in the league, bruv. 3rd. Think about that. 3rd. But there's no problems. Werner and Havertz are not the issue. They are great signings. This is it with some Chelsea fans. They want instant success. Do they forget the mistakes we've made? De Bruyne, Salah are 2 examples. I agree with that massively. I really do. Man like Kai in the comments here says, Fourth Official, very idiotic comment. I like how everyone just walks around the elephant in the room, the championship manager. Throw insult that way again. We're going to share the link now for you all to get involved on this show, the Frank Lampard Sacked update show. Big reports, as we've said, we'll recap again. Big reports today. First one being that Roman's going to give him all the time in the world. Going to give him all the time in the world. He's going to be the Chelsea manager until the end of the season. Other contrasting reports suggest that he could be gone very, very soon. And on top of everything else, the players are not happy with him. But I want your views. I want your opinions. Over 1,000 people watching, but we're not past the 200 like mark yet. Get that hit. First up on the show, long-term viewer, long-term contributor, a man like Pav is here. What are you saying, bro?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I think it was last week we was talking about Frank Lampard, and I said I think Chelsea fans need to give him time. Like, if you look at Ollie, it's taken him 2.5 years to get to the point where he is now.
Yeah.
And with the players that Lampard's got, I think they're better signings than what Ollie was kind of given. And I think you need to give him a little bit more time. But if they do sack him, what does that do for Frank Lampard's career after the club's just given you 250 million and you've just been sacked? I want to ask you, what does that do to his career?
He's fortunate that he's very young. He's got a lot of credibility within the industry. I think he's going to be absolutely fine. He'll be given. Listen, I listened to what Jamie Carragher said last night, and yes, you take these big jobs when they come early. But the reason why Jerry Carragher said he didn't want to go into management is because he didn't want to go to the lower levels and cut his teeth. The Pep Guardiolas and the Zinedine Zidanes are the exception that prove the rule. So again, dullards, idiots, people with no football brain, no football experience, no understanding will say, well, you can just become successful straight away. It's a rarity. And when something's rare, when something is scarce, it shouldn't be taken as the barometer or the sort of dominant theory around something. Lampard's gone into this job too soon. He hasn't cut his teeth. The vast majority of high-level managers in football, look at their CVs. They start off as coaches at lower levels. Sometimes, look at Jose. Man started off as an interpreter for Bobby Robson. Fergie was managing semi-pro teams and worked his way up. You cut your teeth. Lampard's issue is he's not experienced. You look at Ollie. Cardiff was too soon for Ollie. Ollie took a job with no managerial experience with a team that not only were in a relegation fight, at the time, the way that club was being run was atrocious. It was an awful decision from Ollie to take it. And it took him 10 years. I think Ollie may have got a bigger job sooner if he hadn't have done that. So I think what will happen is Lampard's career will stall because of it, but he still has an opportunity to get himself out of that mess. I really do. Quickly, Pav, while you're on the line, what do you make of Jurgen Klopp and his continual attack of Man United's penalties?
One word, mate, rattled. That guy is not even him. Jose Mourinho as well. I don't think we've talked enough about Jose Mourinho, the way he's slyly putting digs out at Bruno Fernandes and penalties and Jesus Christ. I've never seen Ollie Wright use these excuses this season about any manager or certain things that are going to other teams. Yet we've got Jurgen Klopp and Jose Mourinho hitting sly digs at us. We're just going about doing our business. We're just going along with the vibes, mate. We're just doing our own thing. Yet the best team in the country and one of the best teams, one of the best managers in this league are rattled by us, and we're not even doing anything to them. We're literally living rent-free in their heads at the minute.
Mate, I do hear that completely. Pav, you're a legend, mate. Thank you for coming on the show and having your say. Really appreciate it, brother. It's very true, especially when you think of the Jose one. Whenever Man United have struggled under Ollie, have you ever seen Ollie moan about other teams? Really? Doesn't say anything. Very, very good. Jack Delph here says Arsenal finishing above Chelsea might send fans over the edge. Fans neglected the process and claimed they would win the league after a run. That could change things dramatically. DJ here with Super Chat says, Terry, the process can continue regardless of Lampard, Tuchel, Nagelsmann, etc. All can carry on the process. If we sack him, doesn't mean the reboot ends. In theory, you're right, DJ. In practicality, I don't know. And the reason I say that is because if you're one of the new managers that comes in, you realize that you need to win to keep the job. When it comes to developing the youth and the young, which is part of this reboot, if they're not ready, you're not going to use them, are you? You're not going to use someone who's sporadic, who's inconsistent because of age when your job's on the line. The point of Lampard being here was that you were going to push through these bad moments and not allow player power or trigger happy reactions to happen. So it changes the newer manager's approach. You can definitely improve the style of football, but this youth development element that you were praised so heavily for last season, in my view, will dwindle. We've got man like the fourth official here, who, of course, has criticised the signings of Kai Havertz and Werner. We've also got man like Kai in the background as well. I'd like to talk to you both about this. We'll go to the fourth official first. Why are Werner and Kai Havertz the problem here?
Bro, I want you to stay with me. I'm going to defend myself against Kai because Kai and other Chelsea fans have been creaming them pants when they saw that these signings were going to be made. But they didn't stop to think about the type of players that they were getting. If you think about Werner when he was playing for Leipzig, Werner played right next to a striker, a back to the goal striker in Poland, where he could run off and get run in behind teams and all that stuff. That's not the type of team that they have at Chelsea. You see what I'm saying? So systems are what make players. You know what I mean? You cannot bring Werner into a team where he's playing in a front three, where Giroud, if he's playing on the left with Giroud is the one making the movements and getting in the box trying to get headers. You put him on the left, you put him on the right, you put him down the middle, and he still looks like shit because he's not playing the way he's coming into a new league, new language and everything, and he's gonna play into a front three where he has no time on the ball, right? He's a speed merchant, number one, so he needs to be playing off a target man who's gonna be able to either get some, glancing headers towards him or something like that for him to. But systems are what make players. And if you look at Havertz, right? When Havertz was playing for Leipzig, just after we had the lockdown in Germany, when he was scoring all those goals, Havertz was playing as a false nine. He was never playing as a number 10. Havertz never played as a number 10 in that period when he was scoring goals after goals. He was playing as a false nine. I know because of my Jamaican connection with Leverkusen. With Leverkusen. I was watching him almost every game because of Liam Bailey. Havertz never played as a number 10. And you bring in Havertz to play on the left or on the right or sometimes in the number 10. They don't think about the players that they're getting. Systems are what make players, bro. That's why I said it was a stupid decision to bring both of them in at that time. New, young German players to just try to think they're going to take the league by storm. I think it's bullshit.
I hear what you're saying. Kai, what's your response to that, bro?
I think that's utter nonsense, man. It's like spoken from somebody who never watched them play. Werner actually played up front. He played up front for Germany as well. And if you want to talk about a target man, look at Vardy. Vardy is doing fine. And he's similar build, same height, similar hair as well, if you want to be like that specific. It's the only reason he doesn't work because we play crosses to a 5'11" guy, man.
Bro, listen to my argument.
Let me finish. I let you yap for 2 minutes. Let me finish my point. So the fact is, you're saying Havertz doesn't play as a 10. Where I live, the Bundesliga is free. Everybody can watch it, man. And he did play as a 10. He played as a right wing, and he plays in a lot of positions. The problem is we play as an 8. We play 8s. Havertz is not a pressing player. He can't press. The problem with Chelsea is everybody seemed to walk around that issue and just blame it on the players. The reality is we have a manager who doesn't know what he is doing. People like to compare him to Ole. Ole been 10 years in the slums of Norway or Denmark, perfecting his trade. He have been through relegation. He knows what to do. He have been in the struggles. Lampard hasn't. And the reality is people like to blame everything but Lampard himself. Yeah, the players have stuff to blame. But at the same time, Havertz hasn't been given a chance to prove. He hasn't been given a chance to prove himself. He's been kicked out. Werner, that's his first game as a center forward since that game when he scored 2 goals against Southampton, which is a very hard, difficult team to score against. Ask Liverpool. And he played his first game back as a center forward when the team is under horrible form, struggling as a striker. It's not that easy to play against Manchester City, especially if the team as a whole is under form. You're just going here attacking young players in the first year in the Premier League, telling me, oh, he can't play as a lone striker because he at Leverkusen, he played at RB Leipzig, blah, blah, blah. RB Leipzig and Germany, he also played as a lone striker as well. Vardy does it in the Premier League. Aguero does it as well. I don't know where you people get this crap, man. It literally, there is no backing behind it, but other than your subjective opinion. It's ridiculous.
Are you done?
I am done. You're speaking absolute nonsense, man.
You're comparing Jamie Vardy and Aguero to something that's totally irrelevant, bro. And that's where it is.
How is it irrelevant? Similar build. You just said he needs to play as a striker.
It's my turn now. You just landed. It's my turn now. Listen. What I said was, when Werner was playing over there in Leipzig, he played alongside Poulsen. And
he also plays as a lone striker as well, though.
Bro, shut up, bro. Let me finish.
No. Don't tell me to shut up if you're talking nonsense, man.
Shut up. Let me finish, bro.
You're just speaking like a kid, and you're just throwing crap that there's literally no backing behind it. You're just talking absolute nonsense, man. Like you have never watched RB Leipzig before.
Sit down and let me educate you, bro. Sit down and let me educate you.
You're the only person you educated. You literally throwing away shit, and you want it to stick, but it doesn't, man. Literally, there's no backing. You just throw an opinion like somebody who never watched the Bundesliga before, because I watch it weekly, and you just talk absolute fucking bullshit, man.
Screaming doesn't make your point any better, bro.
I'm not screaming, but you're talking bullshit, man. Like go back to who scored and educate yourself. Go watch the games again.
Calm down, bro. You're sitting there trying to blame Lampard for everything. I'm not saying Lampard is the greatest coach ever. Of course, he's made mistakes, but at some point, you as a Chelsea fan has to sit down and say, are you giving these players the responsibility that they should be taking? At some point, you need to sit back and say, what the fuck are these players doing? If you think about it, as I said, each player, Werner, Havertz, totally different players. Havertz, when he was playing in Leverkusen, played as a false 9 the entire time. They're back in the last season when they were when he was scoring all those games. That's a fact. when you
That
was
is not a
up,
fact. He
so-
wasn't playing only as a. He plays
Bro,
the
let me-
false
shut up,
nine, but
let
he
me-
also
let me
plays
finish.
at CM. He also
Let me
plays at
finish.
CM. You're talking. No, I can't let you finish because you're lying. You're lying to all these people, man. You're lying to them. You're giving them wrong information, man.
Bro,
And then I'm not gonna let you just lie and get wrong information. You never watched the Bundesliga. I can listen.
so
I'm literally hearing you, man.
you're getting all emotional right now. So calm down. Calm down.
Because I don't like people giving people
Calm down. You're
misinformation,
getting
man.
all
That's
emotional. So let me-
it's wrong information, man.
Let me
You
calm
you're
down.
just saying wrong things, and
So you're telling me
you're
Havertz
talking like
didn't
it's
play-
fact.
You're telling me Havertz wasn't playing as a false nine when he scored all those
He
goals
played
in
a
the-
few games, but he didn't play the whole season.
Okay, so shut up. Shut up. Let me finish then.
Dude, you're I'm sorry, but you're an idiot. You're saying stupid things, man. You're saying stupid things, and you're acting like you watched the Bundesliga. You didn't. Obviously, you didn't. Anybody who knows me knows I actually watched the Bundesliga. And the stuff you're saying, you're
Nobody-
just copy pasting crap from Twitter and try to make it an opinion when it's not.
Nobody. Listen. Okay, so can I finish now? Are you done? Are you done?
Lie to the
Okay,
people
good.
more, man.
Listen. What I said about Werner was that Werner played alongside Poulsen. Poulsen being the target man at Leipzig, playing off of the target man at Leipzig. Werner doesn't have that opportunity at Chelsea. It doesn't have that opportunity at
He
Chelsea.
doesn't-
Systems are what makes players. You bring in
He
a
doesn't
Werner
need-
who's never played in the league before and expect him to take the world by storm.
No, nobody expected that.
Can I-
But
can I
at the
just
same
say-
time,
can I just say something, Jez? Sorry, Kai, to interject. You're both right in different to certain degrees. Like Kai Havertz and Werner haven't hit the ground running yet, but I wouldn't write them off. I don't think they're bad long-term signings. Lampard's making mistakes with his system and his style that isn't getting the best out of them. It's a collective clusterfuck as a football club. Not that it isn't working yet, but there was the expectation from people that the title was coming back now. I mean, do you know what? From my point of view, I just feel like you're both making good points, but what you're both trying to do is you're minimalizing and reducing everything down to that thing. The reason Chelsea are where they are right now isn't because of solely Lampard's tactics, and it isn't solely because of Werner and Kai Havertz being signed. They're contributing factors. And the fact that your club, think about Chelsea, not I know Rome isn't a Chelsea fan, right? But the club of Chelsea appointed inexperienced coaches, an inexperienced manager, and has promoted lots of youth players who are inexperienced at the elite top end of the game, and bought 7 new players in one season and let 4 or 5 leave. You add all these things together. I said this to Monstar the other day. Think about it. Take Chelsea out of it. Take no names. If I said to you, right, what we're going to do, we used to win the Premier League a lot. We've got a new project. We're going to start to win it again. Oh, what's the plan, Till? Well, what we're going to do, hire a manager with no experience, a coaching staff with no experience, buy 7 new players, lots of them that are under the age of 24 and never played in the UK. We're going to promote lots of academy players, and we're going to throw them all into the mix and we expect to win the league in 1 year. What would your response be?
yeah, but that's not the players' issue though. That's not the players' issue that they're young. That they're
Partner, but I'm not blaming them as individual people, but them as signings in this capacity is a problem.
It is. I don't agree that they should have all been at once. We've been here on the football terrace together, Terry, and we spoke about this. I said a good window would be buying 3 now and then 3 the next summer. You remember when we came and they want to buy Mendy, and I told you, Terry, we already bought enough players. We shouldn't buy more. And now Chelsea wants to buy Rice as well. Then they cannot use that excuse to you next time you come on the channel, a Lampard fell, and they're going to tell you, Terry, oh yeah, Chelsea fell because we bought too many players. But now a lot of those same Chelsea fans want Rice to come as well. And then they complain about gelling, and that's going to be an excuse, which is ridiculous.
There's a comment here that says Chelsea play under less pressure and scrutiny than any other club in the top 6. Lampard should be walking the league. #hollow.
I don't disagree. I think Chelsea is massively underperforming at the moment. And I think if anybody's saying Lampard is doing a good job, is that a good job to be under Aston Villa? Is that a good job to be under Southampton? Is that a good job to be under Leicester? And Leicester is a good team, don't get me wrong, but still Chelsea are underperforming. You should deny that. You're insane.
You shouldn't be underneath them. Listen, both of you, thank you very much for coming on and having your say. We can jump on some more callers. Very heated, passionate, but that's what we love at the Football Terrace. Speak to you both again soon. Take care. Next up on the show, we are going to have, who are we going to put on here? We're going to put in, I'm going to try and get his name right again. Walasha was. What you saying, brother?
How you doing, Terry? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I mean, what do you make of this Lampard situation? We saw a big argument then between Rome and Kai. I mean, what's your views, mate?
The thing is, I feel like you keep mentioning a very important point, which everyone just seems to kind of not be picking up on, or no one seems to be kind of taking it seriously. They signed 6 or 7 players. Like, that's a lot of players to come into a squad and gel in the little time that they've had. It's not been done in a long, long time. A lot of top managers have tried it and failed it. It's just not something that happens regularly. So now to think that a novice like Lampard is going to come in and take 7, 6 world-class players and be able to kind of play them all in their right positions and have them all playing at their very best in this short period, it's very naive, to be honest. And that's why I didn't expect a lot from Chelsea at the beginning of the season. Obviously, they had the run at the beginning and everyone was hyped. They're going to win the league, whatever. But it never looked convincing, to be honest. That's really my opinion on Chelsea.
Listen, I thought it would take them time to gel, and I thought we said January, February time it would. When they had that good run at the beginning, I was shocked. I thought, and I openly, publicly said it. I thought, wow, they've gelled even quicker. What a great early job Frank Lampard has been doing. But it's gone for a bit of a bad patch. I didn't expect Chelsea fans to turn on him in the way they have, and for me, it's the Chelsea fans turning on him so quickly that will lead to Roman.
But it's not really quickly, Terry, is it? Because if you look at Chelsea as a club, they're known to do this. Like a manager, they sacked the Champions League winning manager, for God's sake. They're not known to keep managers if they have even the smallest.
Chelsea, I get. I'm talking about the fans, though. The fans this time last year were like, he's a Chelsea man. He's one of us. He's here to stay. Trust the process. Here for 4 or 5 years. The way they have, Monstar's a great example. Monstar was, we are going to pray for rivals. We're winning the league. Gem, these guys are great, and all of them, and they're all practically Lampard out now. And some of them are even like, I'm not quite gonna say Lampard out yet, but I do mean it. Like it's one of them ones. Mr. Was, thank you very much for coming on,
mate. Just say one more thing just before you let me go ahead.
Go on.
I just want to touch on the fact that we as United have the whole of the league rattled. You've got managers like Klopp and Mourinho complaining about penalty. I absolutely love it, and I hope we go to Anfield and in the 95th minute, Andre Mariner fouls Rashford and gives a penalty, and Bruno scores. I absolutely love it.
It would be poetic. Listen, my man, thank you very much. Speak to you soon. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next up on the show, we've got the Rex. The Rex is here with us. Who do you support, buddy?
Well, what's up, Terry? I support Chelsea, of course. I'm a Chelsea fan, all the way from South Africa. And yeah, man, I just have my takes on this whole Lampard thing, and I just want to clarify the story. So the main story that is happening right now has to do with the players that don't back him. And the players that don't back him is Kepa, Rudiger, Alonso, the guys we should rightfully bin. So I never really understand when reports are coming out saying the players have lost him, and it's like, not really. He's lost the fringe players, the guys that we're supposed to bin. And at the end of the day, that is Marina's fault for not binning those players, because she puts such high values on these players that they can't be sold. Who's going to buy Rudiger for 30 million? Who's going to buy Marcos Alonso for 25 million? Who's going to buy Kepa Arrizabalaga for even, 20 million, 26 million? No one. Kepa is on 200K wages, or around about, 190, 180 per week. Who's going to buy that? Who's going to take that? What club can afford that?
That's a really good point. The problem that you have, though, Rex, is it may be the fringe players you lose, but these fringe players are friends with the first team players. And when there's animosity in the dressing room, it becomes like woodworm. It becomes like rot in your house, like you got to cut that out. And we were talking yesterday, KJ and I, about Man United this January. And as much as I want to sign a couple of players, because there is an outside chance genuinely that Man United could push for a title. So I want to bolster the squad to have the best opportunity possible. Removing some of these players is imperative. You've got Brandon Williams looking like he's going to get a loan move because he's getting frustrated that he's not playing, which is fair. You've got Romero that didn't get his move away in the summer, and his wife was annoyed, and a few of the players in the squad thought it was unfair. He's got an opportunity to move. I think Brighton, I read this morning, are looking at him. You've got Rojo, Phil Jones, all these guys. Getting them out the squad, not that they're bad people. I think it will improve the mood of the overall squad, because the players in the first team see their friends. friends good friends of theirs that get to move on and further their careers, play football. If you're at work and you've got two really good mates there and they're down in the dumps depressed because they're not being treated particularly well by your company, it can impact you because you think, oh, I want to work hard, I'm doing well. Look how they're treating people I'm close to. So I think what Chelsea need to get right is move those players on. And whether it's say, listen, Kepa, no club's willing to pay you more than 70 grand a week. We'll pay you the remaining 130,000. We just want to get you out of this dressing room. That might be the way forward because sometimes you've got to remove those problems, whether they're being overtly negative or just the mood around the camp is partly there. I think all these things need to happen. But are you someone that is still backing Lampard?
It's what can I say, man? It's a very difficult one for me at the moment because these are the factors that are surrounding us right now. Yes, we spent 220 million. Yes, we brought in 6 players. 4 of those players have actually been a hit, and only 2 of them haven't been a hit, and that's the Germans. The problem is the board is probably putting pressure on Lampard to actually play Havertz and Werner. Now, with Havertz, you can actually understand why he's struggling. He's a young kid. He's in a new country. He's dealing with the physicality of the league. He just got COVID and heavy COVID symptoms at that. But Werner is someone you can't excuse. But the problem is Lampard is not making a system that fits Werner in. So then you have to ask yourself, why did you buy Timo Werner if you can't fit him in a system that works for him? Because yes, he's missed 8 chances. I get that. But right now, he can't even play. Like, he doesn't even look like he knows what he's doing. He looks clueless out there. He looks like a German Dan James. People have been saying this, and it's actually true.
Do you know what I would say? What I would say is, how do I put this in the right way? There's 2 things you said there that contradict each other. If the board are forcing Lampard to play Werner and Kai Havertz, that would suggest to me that they were board signings. And why did Lampard sign them if he wasn't going to play a system for them? Well, maybe there lies your answer. And the reason I say that is because Chelsea have pedigree and past of buying players that managers don't want. The famous example being Shevchenko. Jose Mourinho just didn't want him, but the club did. There is no say that there is always an outside chance that Lampard is told these are the players that you are getting. We know that's how Roman has behaved in the past. Who knows? That may have happened again. But Rex, listen, really good points, really good food for thought for everybody. Thank you very much for coming on, mate, and we'll chat to you again soon. Take care. We've got some super chats here. Nabil says, Terry, you are light on criticising Chelsea. I don't know why, but fact is, Havertz and Timo failed. You can't compare them to Drogba and others because they came from a small league, not the German league. I think you can compare them because they need time to adjust. I'm light on my criticism of Chelsea because I think it's all a little bit too. I banter them, but it's all a little bit too quick, in my opinion. That's kind of why. I really mean that. He says Blue Media FC is a City fan. Says why is there a Spurs badge but not a City or Leicester one? New emojis are on the way. We've got space for I think we've got 5 or 6 new emojis we've got ready. We just got to upload them and put them on. So keep yourself tuned. By one of our later streams tonight, all the new emojis will be uploaded for you. There is City ones being added. We're going to have Leicester ones added as well for you all to go out there and use. So keep an eye on that as well. If you want to become a member, in the description below is the link to sign up right now from as little as 99p. FaZe here says we could sign Mbappe and Neymar, we would still struggle. That could very much be true. Next up on the show is going to be Josh Gilmore. Josh, welcome back to the Football Terrace. How you doing, mate?
Hi, thank you. I'm good, thank you.
Good. I mean, what do you make of all of this? Lots of Chelsea fans want Lampard gone. You've got other people blaming the players. Where do you think the problems lie right now at Chelsea, and can Frank survive it?
There are a lot of problems. In my opinion, we need to keep Frank Lampard. He needs at least a season, okay? People being very reactionary. You cannot believe that when you get all those players in, that it's going to be instant success. Sure, beginning of the season, I was very, very happy. We all were with the signings. I was like, maybe we can go for a title. We can improve on top 4. That's a real, kind of realistic expectation for the players. But it takes time. This is the hardest league in the world. They've never played in the Premier League before. Werner Havertz. Takes time. Have patience. I'm so tired of hearing all these people that you have on the show, Chelsea fans, so-called Chelsea fans, that are screaming for his head already. It's doing my head in. I can't stand it. It's like, give the guy time. We're in 8th or something, 8th or 9th. That sickens me as a Chelsea fan, a diehard Chelsea fan. It's not good enough. But have patience. Give him time, man. Please back your team. support your team, and go and stand with them through the losses. That's what I do, man. I know it's not good enough, but just have some patience. We didn't have a preseason, okay? They're not looking at all the facts. We did not have a preseason. They went straight into it. They did not have time to build and gel together. Man City have had the same team for years. Guardiola has built that squad for years, okay? There's a big difference.
So I understand where you're coming from, and I think that's why my criticism. Listen, the banter's there because you always banter a rival when they lose, but the serious criticism, and the way I look at it is this. And Jamie Carragher got inside my head last night, and he made sense. That like he a lot of people say, oh, that that the media and everybody are less harsh on Lampard than they are other managers. And it's well, as he pointed out, Lampard shouldn't even be in this job yet, really. So, and I said this, but I'll give you an example when it comes to football players. I'm more critical of a bad performance from Paul Pogba than I am Scott McTominay, because Paul Pogba is beyond that. He's 5 times, 10 times a better football player. So my expectations are higher. My expectations for Klopp are higher than they are for Ollie. So I will always criticize poor form of Klopp more than poor form of Ollie because he's a better manager. But you see, football fans always try to twist and change that. They relinquish their integrity and they dilute their morality week in, week out to defend what they like and to criticize what they don't. You'll often see fans attack the worst players with more venom than the good players. And Chelsea fans have done it for a long time. The anger that Willian and Alonso got for being inconsistent, but yet Hazard would go weeks and weeks without performing, and it was like, oh, but he's great though. But he's better than them. He shouldn't be as inconsistent as them because he's better. Like your level of criticism is mental. And Man United fans do it. Pogba can have 10 bad games, and some United fans are like, oh, but he's still brilliant. Like Scott McTominay dropped a clanger, an awful game the other day against Aston Villa. See, that's why he should never play. It's like, hang on a minute. Like your criticism is so hyperbolic and polarized and over the top. And this is what always goes on. I feel a bit sorry for Frank.
Yeah.
In some respects, but he does now need to start learning as well. So where I will criticize him is, I'm not saying listen to the fans directly. Start Hudson-Odoi on the right-hand side for 3 or 4 games in the Premier League on the bounce. Do it. Just get it done. Even if sometimes you've got to fall on your sword a little bit, and maybe or give a bit of rope out for people to hang themselves. If there's a problem with Hudson-Odoi, I'm not saying there is. If there is, expose it so people see it. You keep it without you publicly saying it. Sometimes you've got to be smart. Do you get where I'm coming from? And I don't know. None of us know what the actual issues are, but whatever they are, do it. Change things. Maybe go 2 up top. Play Giroud with Havertz.
Change it. Yeah.
Do something that's a little bit different.
Yeah.
So that because that's the one thing I'd say. He'll get more credit from people for trying something new, as opposed to sticking to the 4-3-3 that right now isn't working. And I do think we're entering a new stage of football again. And this happens every 4 or 5 years. I think regimented system styles killed it for a few years in the Premier League. I now think we're moving into the realms of, can you adapt? I look at this year. I look at Leicester. I look at Southampton. I look at Aston Villa, Everton, and Man United as standout examples. Systems that very much change depending upon who they're playing. Pound for pound, they're all doing brilliantly. Do you get where I'm coming from? The system managers who do the same thing week in, week out, pound for pound, have regressed.
Get found out.
Some of those teams are still, like Liverpool, still the joint top of the league, but actually the number 1 spot because of goal difference, because they're a world-class, amazing, great team with a great manager, but they're being found out more. And you have to look at this sometimes pound for pound. People say, oh, we're still top of the league, we're not regressing. You're 30% worse than you were last year. You've got someone like Man United that are like over 30% better. And it's the trajectories that these things are going. And this isn't a criticism of any of these teams and managers is in a salty way. It's just like this happens in football. I always go back to the point between 2008 and 2011, tiki-taka become the thing. And everybody wanted one touch, quick pace, fast paced football, hunt the ball down in packs. Who talks about tiki-taka now? Who talks about that kind of football? Because it's like we're doing that as a system that it is gone now. It's evolved and it moves into something else. Elements of the game still sit there. Teams play with high lines still, which is something that Pep really pushed. Teams hunt the ball down in packs. But you now get that, the sort of the Gegenpress approach, where just you press all game and you kill a team early. That's changed now. Teams tend to do it in patches. They'll have a patch where they press and then they sit back and invite teams on. It becomes harder. And why do they change it to that? Because it becomes harder to read. Because if you just press all the time, teams work out how to beat your press. And then after 50 minutes, you're exhausted and they can beat you. So you have to learn to be. And this is the evolution of football. And I think that's what we're seeing this season. Lampard needs to address that by changing something. But Josh, I appreciate you coming on, mate, and having your say. Really do appreciate it. All the best, buddy. Thank you. Let's do some more of these comments. Member only chat right now. No one speaks of Klopp's behavior on the sidelines. People do. Most people like it, to be fair. Simon here with a comment says the key problem was thinking they could buy the title instead of looking at what happened to LVG at United buying 7+ players in one window. Doesn't work. Lampard on the chopping block because of it. Terry, you show more patience towards Lampard, but not Ollie. Why? I've already explained that. Ollie's got 10 years experience. Now, he's fairly new to the elite level of the game, but he's got 10 years. He's cut his teeth as a manager. Ollie's proven that he knows how to handle difficult situations at Man United and prior to that and come through it and get better and improve. He's won back-to-back league titles. You know, the first manager ever to get molded to win a league title in their own country. Now, does that qualify him to win a Premier League? Nobody has stated that it does. But Lampard is a fledgling manager. I'm a scathe of him and I criticize him, but I think some of the criticism is absolutely ridiculous because his clubs put him into this position. No shadow of a doubt. Let's do one more of these comments here. This is from David, who says, I actually think Chelsea should stick with Frank. He is learning on the job and they went a bit crazy spending because of the previous ban. Trio. So he says, trio many players in at once. Too many players, I think you might have meant there at once, but there is no patience today. Absolutely. A comment here says Klopp is rattled. Klopp's just angry at the minute. We are only 1 point behind United if we win our 2 games in hand. This is very, very true. Twisted Bubba says, Terry, do you think the transfer ban is now catching up with Chelsea? I just think it takes time to integrate everybody. Kieran says, what's your prediction for our game on the 17th? 2-1 Liverpool win. That's my view. You're the best team in the world, best manager in the world, best squad in the world, best attacking 3 in the world, best defense in the world, best fullbacks in the world, best midfield in the Premier League. Nobody but Liverpool are favourites for that game. Cast iron fact's got to be Liverpool. You know, you can't have all them things and not be favourites. It would be legitimately ridiculous of any football fan to think otherwise. You can't think otherwise. You cannot think otherwise. It just doesn't work like that as far as I am concerned. David wants the link. I'm going to share the link in the comment sections, but I'll get David on in a few minutes. There it is, David. Quickly, one of our last callers of the show. We're going to get Philip on. What are you saying, Phil?
Hi, Terry. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. What do you want to say, buddy?
I guess even though this is Frank Lampard focused, I wanted to quickly touch on Liverpool's current form. If that's all right.
Yep.
Yeah. Right now, I wouldn't say Klopp's rattled, but I understand why United fans, want to banter. That's football. But definitely, I think he's definitely frustrated because ever since Matip got injured in the West Brom game, I think we've looked like we're in lockdown. I mean, the front 3. I don't know if you've been watching our previous games, but the front 3 have been very cowardly and pathetic. And they don't do what they usually do, which is run everywhere. They don't try and score. They always pass backwards now. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact our defense is so fragile. So they're worried about giving the ball up. So until we get Matip back, which I think we will get him back for the United game, I'm glad we have this break now so we can get back on form.
Yeah, listen, I think
if any Liverpool fans out there don't.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, yeah, I just want to say, any delusional Liverpool fans out there who don't take Manchester United or Manchester City seriously need to wake up. I've been fighting with Liverpool fans recently because Klopp's been talking about all the 5 substitution thing, and it's you don't even use your 3 that you already got. So, shut up about this 5 substitutions. I love him. Yeah. He's given me the best moments of my life, but
I get
don't
where
talk about 5 substitutions.
No, I totally get where you're coming from, mate. Listen, Phil, thank you for coming on, having your say, mate. I appreciate it. We'll speak more Liverpool later in the week. Oh, man, thank you, Philip. We've got David here. We've got Ches here. Obviously, Chelsea fans in the house. Final callers of the show. Sorry to everybody else that's in the back area. We just don't have the time. Lots of comments today. Big fight between Rome and Kai. I'm not sure if you heard that. One blaming the signings. Well, not Kai blaming Lampard only. Rome blaming the signings of Werner and Kai Havertz and not being used properly, etc. Big stories today. One saying that Roman's backing Lampard no matter what this season. Others basically stating that players are turning against him. It's all falling apart. What's your opinions, boys? David first, please.
What's it? You were talking about the Jamie Carragher thing. Yes, that happened yesterday. I was watching it, and he did make sense. But one thing that really hit me was like, if you took Chelsea's name out of it, or any player's name out of it, and you went, young manager, loads of signings, and young squad, what would you expect? And you'd obviously say you'd expect maybe like you expect your team to be better, but you wouldn't expect it to be good. And it's like almost a recipe for disaster, which is why I think he's just got to go, because I don't think he's ready to do it. He said himself, you wouldn't want Gerrard at Liverpool for like the next 10 years because he needs those young managers to go out and actually like prove themselves and learn how to be a manager. What I see from this happening is that he'll just keep making loads and loads of mistakes, and I don't think it's like he hasn't clearly learned from his mistakes that he's been doing. He's doing the same things over and over because I think that's the only way he knows how to do it. And I haven't seen any progression. I don't think it's one of those things where he can change it tomorrow. That's one of those things that comes with having years and years of experience. Am I willing to wait 4 or 5 years for him to get that experience at my team? No. Right.
Well, I think I like the fact that you've admitted that you're not willing to give him that time. I think that's a fair point. This goes back to what I was talking about last year. I said that Chelsea fans, and I even believe Chelsea Football Club, will never give a manager more than a year after they've had a good spending. If they're not pushing for league titles, I think it's as simple and straightforward as that. This nonsense of cultural reboot, develop the youth, and this will also impact you developing youth as well. And you all have to realize this because young players are inconsistent by default. And if your players are inconsistent default wise, it doesn't matter how good you are as a manager, it's very hard to. It's why what Fergie did with the class of '92, where there was half the first starting lineup were academy players and inexperienced. It's why him winning the league with that team is one of the greatest achievements in Premier League history, because it's almost impossible to do. And if you look at like Liverpool, yes, Trent, fledgling player. Who else was? Like you, and you know, I said to you guys the other day when you were talking about, we'll bring in like Sancho or whatever. It's like, really, you want another young player? Man United, Sancho's the only other like young player I really want at Man United. I was calling all summer, we need more 24, 25, 26, 27-year-olds to bring it together. I look at your team, Werner's young, Havertz is young, Reece James young, Mason Mount, Tammy. You start going through a lot of your main players, they're all young. Yeah. And then you add 7 new players in that have never played together. Some of them are young. You throw it all together, and it just takes time. And this will set a precedent for the next manager. Whether it's to people like we can continue to develop youth and this process with Tuchel, though. No, because Tuchel knows he's got a winner, he gets sacked, and it's a madness. Cheers. Where's your head at with all this today?
It's a difficult one because when I called up on the other day and I said he should swallow his pride and leave, because he hasn't got an experience. But then it's like, he's already here now, and then why did Roman implement him in the first place? That's why I said to you on the stream the other day. I was thinking, you don't think Roman knew this could be, because it happened? Obviously not to this extent. But it's like, am I thinking maybe we should stick with him even though just because he's here? I'm just going to give him time. But at the same time, we're doing very bad, and we're in very bad form. So it's like, that's why you're hearing the contrast of reports. It's because like, they're catering to do 2 different types, 2 different sides. And they've let it keep and said the report about new managers coming in and they're looking into new managers, but even before the City game. So they were thinking about it anyway. So they're in kind of the same thought process as me. It's like, do you stick or twist? They don't even probably know themselves. We'll find out anyway this week. But I think he could stay.
He could. I mean, you've got Morecambe and Fulham. They are easy games. Let's get it right. In the cold light of day, on paper, they're easy games. I don't think winning. No, my point. I don't think winning them saves his job. Losing them destroys him. And it's interesting to see where Chelsea fans start. I heard Liverpool fans yesterday say, "Oh, listen, we'll be okay in the league. We'll sack off the FA Cup this weekend and go out of it." It's like, are you? I can see what you're doing. You're scared of losing to Villa in the FA Cup, so you're going to pretend early that you don't care if you go out of it or not. I don't want to see Chelsea fans behave like that, because do you know what's helped build Chelsea's legacy in the last 15 years? It isn't just the Premier Leagues and Champions Leagues. It's all those domestic cups you won along the same time. And when you've got a squad as deep as yours, I don't think you can be writing off domestic.
No excuses this week, Terry. No way.
I agree. I completely agree. But boys, I have got to shoot. End of the stream is here. Everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Please smash that like and share button. Really important to the Football Terrace that you get that done. We're back later on this afternoon with a Team of the Week show. We are going to be touching on Jurgen Klopp and his crybaby tactics as well. So make sure you tune in. And we'll be live after the Carabao Cup semi-final this evening involving Brentford and Tottenham. What an opportunity for you! Kind of forget Tottenham are one win away from a final on the under Jose Mourinho in a competition that he loves to win. Could be amazing. Until then, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And